Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the basketball edition of the Huddle. I'm Ruth Lang here with sports editor Mike Brown. And Mike, it seems like the third quarter has been the trick for the guys these last couple of games. We had Marlington, Alliance, and Sebring
Right.
all had some key third quarters on their games on Tuesday night.
Right. In particular, the Alliance Aviators are, they had a little bit of a lull there at the midway point of the season, and now I think they've caught a gear and they've won their last three straight and played really well in the second half in their recent wins. They defeated West Branch last Friday night. That was a good win for the Aviators. Got them back on the winning track. Then had a back-to-back with Northwest and beat Northwest on Saturday night, Ruth, and then turned around and beat a good Central Catholic team on Tuesday night. So Alliance in particular is playing very well.
Mm-hmm. Now they're spreading around the scoring too. It seems like, right?
Right, that's right. They have good balance, and it's hard to defend a team like that because you can't key on one particular player.
Mm-hmm. For Marlington, I think the key was defense, though. Tuesday,
right?
When you say and then outscoring, obviously Northwest in the third quarter. Louisville also in an NBC match took Canton South on Friday as well in boys basketball action. Going to girls basketball action, West Branch is still steamrolling. They just had their seventh straight win against Marlington. With just some simple straight out scoring, but Marlington put up a good fight.
They sure did. Marlington actually had a 1 point lead at certain times in the first half in that game, and they played very well. I mean, and they're without one of their top players. Allie Rogers is out with an injury, and so they were without their top player, and they were right there with West Branch in the first half. And then, West Branch is a veteran team. I think they made some adjustments at halftime, and then West Branch went on to roll 64-38. In that game, which tells you, my goodness, to outscore a team that much in the second half was very impressive. But that's how good they are.
Yeah, so a lot of teams, sometimes they can't sustain it up to that second half, to that fourth quarter, and then here we see the opposite.
Yep, and Melinda Trimmer and Kaylee Manning has really come through as one of the younger players that's really emerged for West Branch this year. They have the veterans, but she has really done a great job coming around leading that team, and they have a little bit more depth than they've had in past years, and they're up to sixth in the Division II state poll, Ruth. So that's really well for the Lady Warriors.
Mm-hmm. Now, also Alliance, it has a player down, DeJohna Johnson. They took a loss to Salem, who started out the first quarter keeping them scoreless, 19-0.
Yeah.
That can be a little bit sort of defeating. It's hard to play back against that kind of a start.
Absolutely, and like I said, I know it sounds like a broken record, but Cynthia Talbot's done a good job with Alliance this year. They've got 5 or 6 wins, and made great strides with the program. And as we've said all along, it's a process. The NBC is pretty good in everything, and to try and make strides and win 5 or 6 games, I think that's a tremendous accomplishment. And hopefully they can win some more and maybe get in the tournament and maybe get a tournament win. I think that would be a great, great season for the Alliance girls.
Sebring girls, their Monday night game was postponed due to the weather. Then their most recent game prior to that was a loss to Lowellville.
Right.
Again, they only had, I think, 3 key scorers in
right.
that game.
Only 3 players scored in that game, and that's tough because they have 2 of the best players in the area. But it really takes balance because a lot of times teams will find a way to stop one of your scorers, and you need other people, and that's been a problem for them this year. And I think and again, going back, it's a process for them. But hopefully, they can win some games toward the end of the regular season, get some momentum going into the tournament because they certainly have 2 of the better players in the area, Murphy Flowers and Sydney Smith.
And they're going to be scheduled again Thursday for a game, you said. What else is our schedule coming up here?
Yeah, as far as the girls go, on Thursday night, we said Western Reserve and Sebring will play Thursday night at Western Reserve. That's always a big rival game. And then as far as boys basketball on Friday night, Alliance is going to go to Salem for an NBC game. Minerva goes to Louisville. The big area rivalry Friday night will be West Branch at Marlington, and Marlington won that earlier meeting between those 2 rivals. Sebring's going to host Lowellville. That's senior night at Sebring and their last home game of the season. And then St. Thomas Aquinas, which only has 1 loss this year, Ruth, and have a lot of those key players back from that state runner-up team last year. They're going to go to Parma Heights Holy Name. That's going to be a North Coast League game for them. So, and they've been rolling, and we're not surprised by that. They're going to be a quality playoff team for us.
We'll have coverage of that in the paper and online. But until then, we'll see you on the court.